Take a look at what came yesterday from PCBWay. Got some printed circuit boards and front panels. I really like how this came out. But hang on a second. This isn't a Eurorack front panel. This is too tall to be a Eurorack front panel. What's going on?
Hey, welcome back to another video. This is being recorded in April of 2020 during the big pandemic lockdown. If you are watching in April of 2020, I hope you're doing okay. Hope isolation isn't giving you too many problems and maybe giving you a little time to get some stuff built. If you are watching this in the future, hello future, glad you made it. So what is going on? Well, what's going on is this is indeed a synthesizer front panel, but it is not for a Eurorack module. It's for a module in a different format. So there are a number of, over the years there have been a large number of modular synthesizer formats, and these days Eurorack is by far the most popular of them. But there's a number of others. There's FracRack, there's Surge, there's Buchla, MOTM, MU, Modcan A, a bunch of them. And one characteristic of Eurorack as compared to all these is its size. It's smaller than the rest. So the vertical height of a Eurorack panel is defined to be about 5 inches. The width can vary one module to another, but a typical Eurorack width is about 1.5 inches. And if you compare that to most of these other well-known formats, it's smaller than all the others. And that has some distinct advantages if you are, for instance, working with a studio or an apartment or a man cave or wherever it is you have your synthesizer set up, where you have very limited amounts of space. You can build a more compact system in Eurorack than with the other modular formats. If you're a gigging musician, if you want to pack up your synthesizer and haul it off with you to various performance venues, then again, the compactness of Eurorack is a good thing. It does, however, also have its drawbacks. With the smaller size of the front panel, necessarily the stuff on the front panel, the jacks, the knobs, the switches, are going to have to be closer together, and they're going to have to be smaller in size. And to my way of thinking, this kind of inhibits your ability to use the synthesizer in the way that I like. In other words, being able to just kind of reach out, grab a knob and give it a turn, or grab two knobs, give them a turn, flip switches, and so on. You know, if you're trying to turn two knobs at the same time and they're close together, you kind of have to work your fingers in together like this, and then they run into each other, and it gets in the way of being able to play easily with the controls and change the sounds on the fly. And that's something that's been bothering me for a bit. And I bothered a guy by the name of Sam Battle, who has a YouTube channel called Look Mum No Computer. And he switched over from building modules in the Eurorack format to a larger format, and he did not choose to adopt one of the existing larger formats, but he created a format himself called Cosmo. And I'll have more to say about the Cosmo format, I think, in some future videos, but for right now I'll just say it's something I find interesting, something I thought I would take a look at, try to build some Cosmo modules. Now, the Cosmo modules that are on the market, there's about 6 of them on the LNNC website, board and panel sets. And they're all relatively bread and butter things, VCO, VCA, stuff like that. Things that I didn't really feel like I wanted to build one of those right away. So I thought instead maybe I would do a Cosmo format adaptation of a Eurorack module. So there's a module from Music Thing Modular called Mikrokosmos, which I've had my eye on for a while. It's a very simple circuit, and it's essentially a piezo pickup mounted on the back of a panel with a preamplifier that it connects to, and we'll take a look at what it can do later on. Just say that I had been thinking about building one of these for some time in Eurorack format, but then a couple weeks ago I said, well, why don't I build one as a Cosmo module? So it's open source hardware. You can download the schematic, you can download the layout for the printed circuit board, you can download the layout for the front panel and use them as you like. So what I did was I took the schematic. I decided to completely redo the layout in a format that I thought was better suited for use in a Cosmo format module. And I designed a front panel, which is inspired by the Music Thing Modular Eurorack front panel, but in Cosmo size. For this Cosmo version of Mikrokosmos, I couldn't resist changing the name of it to Mikrokosmos, which is a reference to a set of piano pieces by Bela Bartok. It is not a reference to the song by BTS. I sent both off to PCBWay and had them fabricated for me. They arrived just recently, and I put it together. Let's take a look. I found out my phone camera does time-lapse. So the build was pretty simple. It's a very simple circuit. It's one IC, it's a handful of resistors, a few other components, nothing big about it. It would have taken me even less time if I hadn't forgotten that my intention was for the potentiometer to be mounted on the other side of the board from everything else. So I had to cut off the potentiometer that I soldered on the wrong side and unsolder the bits that were left and solder a new potentiometer in on the correct side. And then I had to wire the jacks and the piezo element on the front panel, which is wiring front panel stuff is something I haven't done a lot of, so that took me a little longer. But even so, I think I got the whole thing together in about, 45 minutes or an hour, beginning to end. And it worked when I plugged it in, so let's take a look at it. Well, I now have a Cosmo module. I don't have a case to mount the Cosmo module in. And in fact, you can see I'm sort of running out of Eurorack space, so I'm planning on building a new case, a better case, more permanent in the near future, with room for both Cosmo and Eurorack modules, but not until after the lockdown is over. So I've got a module, but it kind of is living on the table at the moment. Anyway, we can still play with it. So it's just got it plugged directly into the output. No processing, and you can probably hear it when I picked it up. If I scratch my fingers around here. This is an area of bare raw PC board. It's got these curves drawn on it in copper, and then the rest of it is white, the solder mask, black silkscreen. And the copper lines makes a nice thing to scratch your finger across to get sounds. You can tap on it. I wish I'd made it a little bit more of a clear at the bottom because that's kind of a different nice sound. To some extent you can get sounds from around the module as well. If we're screwed down, you might hear it better. So you could pick up sounds from beyond the module. Now it gets a little more interesting if we give it a little bit of reverb. If we want to go a little bit more nuts, we can put it into the reverb echo module. And then, yeah, we'll run that through the filter. For something completely different, so we've got the external input, and into that we can plug a piezo pickup equipped ukulele. I've not really figured out what you can really do with a ukulele plugged into a synthesizer, but at least it can be done. So, I don't know. But it works to some degree. And maybe can do some weird ukulele synthesizer stuff. I don't know. Yeah, so that's Mikrokosmos, the first chapter in a new era here at Analog Output. Still have some Eurorack modules I will be building in the near future. Not abandoning that completely, but got some ideas for some Cosmos stuff too. I'll be doing some commercially available modules. I've got some ideas for some very much do-it-yourself scratch build things. I mentioned before I've got a case I'm going to be building. So lots of things coming up here pretty soon. So, you know, like and subscribe and keep watching. And let me just give you a taste, because while I was trying to record this, the mail came. So this is something sent to me by Christian from the LNNC discourse group. Let's just see what is in here. Okay, got a bus board for lots and lots of connectors for power for Eurorack or Cosmo use. And then this is a step sequencer, I believe. It's PC board, front panel, and parts. or some of the parts anyway. And let's see what else is in here. A couple of miscellaneous sockets. This is PC board and panel, and I think all of the parts for buffered multiple. And perf board. And, oh, this was parts for the bus board, I guess. So a bunch of stuff sent to me. Thanks, Christian. Great. I got the better end of that deal now, didn't I? But anyway, we'll be seeing more of that stuff coming up soon. So stay tuned, stay healthy, stay safe. See you next time.